Last year was my first full season racing gravel, and in this video I'll share with you some of the things that I've learned. So stick around and maybe this video will help you not to make some of the mistakes that I did. In August of 2022 I did my first gravel race, totally unprepared on a borrowed bike, not knowing much at all, but I was hooked right away. So by the 2023 season I got myself a gravel bike and I was ready to start racing. By the end of the year I'd done 8 races and learned a ton. The first thing I learned is kind of obvious, but then again, you don't know what you don't know. I got my gravel bike just a few days before my first race last year. That means that the only real gravel experience I had was from the race I did on a borrowed bike. This race had mud, sand and anything in between. And let's just say I learned a lot on that day. So my first learning is train what you race. I learned that it for sure is a good idea to train on many different surfaces if you want to race gravel. Especially with a background like mine, racing Ironmans. In Ironmans you're usually just going straight more or less with your head down in a TT position. And a gravel race is not that at all. Unfortunately, it's not like I learned the lesson straight away. I still did most of my riding on road, especially when I rode hard, did my intervals and stuff. It was just easier to do them on a paved road than going on gravel. So I for sure lost valuable lessons and learnings doing this for the first part of my racing season last year. Fortunately, I have now understood that I really need to work on this, so I do way more of my harder efforts on gravel or in the forest or whatever, just to get myself a bit more used to going hard, going fast on different kind of surfaces. So if you want to be a faster gravel racer, definitely do some of your harder efforts on gravel relevant surfaces. I also started doing some exercises and drills with inspiration from cyclocross. That's definitely something I'm gonna make a video about very soon. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and push the notification button so you'll get notified when it's out. Choosing the right tire for gravel is crazy important, and getting my head around what makes a great tire is something that has taken quite some time. I used to think that a narrow hard pump tire was the way to go, and I definitely know now that that's not it. I have had some races this year where I have felt like people around me didn't have to work quite as hard to produce the same speed, and I'm quite sure that at least some of it is down to tire choice and tire pressure. I don't think that there's an ultimate gravel tire. I think that it's mostly personal preferences. Some like slicks, some like a tire with a few more knobs. Some people like something that's a bit in between. My advice is to take some time to do a bit of research. There's lots of great resources online to find out about rolling resistance and so on, and then buy a few tires, test them out and find out what you like to ride on. I think that going a bit wider and with less pressure is maybe the way to go. It's definitely something that I want to try out this year, maybe even up to some 45s and yeah, a bit lower pressure as well. So I'm pretty excited to see what that will get me. One of the coolest races I did last year was the Gravel 150 in the Netherlands. My goal was to try and qualify for the Gravel World Championships, but I ended up having a pretty shit day on the bike and making it completely impossible to do so. My energy strategy for the day was to mix a very heavy concentrated energy drink and put it on my bike, and then just take on pure water on the route. But I was totally focused on staying with the group I was riding with, so I didn't really think about getting enough water and ended up becoming pretty dehydrated. I'm so dehydrated. Fuck me. I can't take it more. Energy, drinks, gels, I just need pure water. Yeah, so yeah, I know that next time. So after the race, I decided to buy me a hydration pack. This was a huge win for me because I no longer had to rely on getting water or whatever on the route, and I was simply way more self-sufficient. Being self-sufficient in gravel racing is very important. For you, it might not be necessary with a hydration pack because you don't sweat like I do, but it also relates to being able to fix a puncture. You're probably riding tubeless and maybe you need to use a plug or you have chain problems, whatever. Being able to do all of these things by yourself, being more self-sufficient, is a very big lesson that I learned last year. I have a tendency to be pretty stubborn. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's just plain stupid. Last year, before the first gravel races, I got myself these very nice watt pedals and I like them a lot, but one thing is for sure, they are made for riding on the road. It happened more than once that I was standing on the side of the road trying to clean out my cleats with a stick just to being able to get back on the bike. This happened even though many people told me that it would be a great idea to get mountain bike pedals, but I didn't really listen. So this is two learnings in one. First of all, it's a good idea to use mountain bike pedals when you want to race gravel. Sometimes you have to get off your bike and run for a bit. The second lesson is it's very smart to listen to people who know way more than you do. Sorry to interrupt, but I was hoping we could make a deal. Since you're here watching this video, I guess you love gravel racing too. I promise I'll keep on making cool gravel content and work on getting better with every video. If you would then just subscribe to the channel and push the notification button, it would help me more than you know. The bigger the channel gets, the more opportunities I get to make bigger and better videos. That's it. Back to the show. The last thing I want to talk about is being self-aware and also being aware of the physical requirements of gravel racing. With my background as an Ironman racer, I am pretty good at the medium stuff. I can ride medium hard forever, but as soon as we get into the high-end stuff, I'm in trouble. But doing bike races, you need to be able to handle these kinds of efforts. Sometimes you might need to go very hard over a hill, or you might need to be able to close a gap to a group. That's just simply bike racing. This is something I learned the hard way. On more than one occasion last year, I lost a group because I simply couldn't handle the high-end stuff. Being able to ride medium hard forever is of course a good thing, but I also need to be able to handle the high-end stuff. So I have made quite a few changes when it comes to my training to be able to handle these kinds of efforts. So being self-aware, knowing where you're strong, where you might be a bit weaker and you need to work a bit on it, is a very good thing, not only when it comes to gravel racing, but I guess that's almost a metaphor for life. That's it for today's video. Hope you liked it. Drop a comment below with things you have learned so we can all get smarter together. Until the next one, see ya.